that sometimes because we haven't sat long enough, we haven't allowed the Lord to cultivate what needs to be cultivated, we can miss what God is doing. And I don't believe that it's God's heart or his intention, but I do think that it is a part of even just his providence too, right? And also just because he is a loving father. He wants us to really learn as we're going through this life.
And I also believe that that's so good. I want to jump in right there, but I believe that God has to cultivate you so that you can manage the places and the spaces and the things that he's about to bring you into. Again, we can refer to Joseph. I believe Joseph had to be groomed to be a ruler over a nation, to have the wisdom to stock up for 7 years in a time of famine, to be wise so that he can take care of a nation when there would be a drought in the land, right? King David, he was appointed or anointed as king as a teenager, but David didn't step right into kingship. He had to be trained. He had to go back in the field and continue working. We have to learn when God shows us something, what is it going to take for me to develop myself to get to that place? So when I get to that place, my character is intact. When I get to that place, I have integrity. When I get to that place, God can still trust me and I won't bow to another God, right? When I get to those places. So all of it is training ground. God is training you for the place that he has for you.
And I love that. And I think just even right now, if you're listening, that, you know, this is a moment for us to truly rejoice and even just thank God, right? That he doesn't want to prematurely bring us into his promises because he wants us to be able to sustain them. He wants us to be able to build upon them so that we can continue to build what he's called us to build. So I think that so many women can simply relate to what we're talking about, Coach Christie. There is this weight that comes with thinking that maybe we have missed God. And I believe that the enemy can even kind of use that feeling and that emotion and that regret as a playground to torment us and to actually stop us from believing that we're worth being and living in the promises of God. It's not just God's disappointment, right? I believe that we may be struggling with. It's almost this type of grief. It's this grief. It's this sadness. I would even say there's even this depression that's attached to it, this oppression that's attached to feeling as though you may have missed God. So what Coach Christie is about to dive into next is it's about a moment that shifted everything for her. She's going to share exactly how God's too late became his just on time.
I'll share a story that my daughter, when she graduated, she wanted to go off to college. But as a mom, I knew that she wasn't ready. And so I refused to let her go. I made her stay home to do community college because I knew mentally, emotionally, my baby was not ready. And I did not want to put her in a position that would do damage to her. So I made her wait. And because my daughter trusts me, she said, okay, mom. And then when she got ready to move again, she came back to me and she said, Mom, she sat down at the dinner table. She said, I think I'm ready to leave now. And at that moment, I had a peace because now I understand. I feel like I can trust you to go and do what you need to do. And so my baby was able to transition from home to San Antonio. And she finished her degrees. My baby has never been in trouble, didn't repeat the same cycles. But as a mom, I had to have the wisdom to say, I know you want to leave. And sometimes it's like, I want you to go to college. But I knew that my daughter, I knew what I wrestled with. I knew what I dealt with. And I knew that she wasn't ready to be away from home without wisdom and without guidance, even though she was grown, even though she had graduated high school. You're not ready. You're going to stay here for a couple of years. We're going to still work on you. We're going to still develop you. I'm going to still train you how to spend your money and pay your bills. You're not ready to get out there. You'll get out there, you'll get in a hole, or you want me and dad to pay everything. We're not, but she went out there, and I tell you, Coach Natasha, she's done so well. So God is the same way. You're not ready for it. I know you see it, baby. I know I've shown it to you, but you're not ready. Stay here with me for a little bit. Let me train you. Let me grow you up. Let me cultivate you. And when you're ready, I will release you into the vision or into the purpose that I called you to.
And I believe that we could even talk more about this towards the end of just praying a prayer over women who may not see God as Father. Because I believe that even just with my own father, that I've matured in my love for him. I've even matured in my trust in him, because my trust in my father, my earthly father, has shifted from when I've been a young girl to where now as an adult, right? And I just believe that if we as women, as a community, can understand that God's timing truly is perfect and that he's not hiding us, he's protecting us, right? It's just this whole place of just understanding that what is it all at the end? He loves us so much that he's like, look, I won't give you all of this because I want your heart.
That's right.
I want communion with you. And I want to be able to enjoy you when you cross over. He doesn't want to sell us to all the fame and sell us to all the dreams that we have. And then we lose a relationship with him. So your relationship with God is so important that he wants to keep that intact. And he has made the decision multiple times in Coach Christie's life and in my life, right? To, instead of sacrificing our relationship with him, he made that a priority, right? So I think that's a really great way to just even wrap that up there.
Sometimes the delay is your protection.
It really is. And we can get that revelation. It changes everything.
Yeah.
So I would love for you right now, ladies, to type "too late" in the comments if you have ever felt like you may have missed your window with God. So Coach Christie, let's talk about what scripture says about God's timing. So you did mention briefly in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, it says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. How do we reconcile feeling late with God's perfect timing?
I think sometimes we just have to recount the vision and also not just recount what he said when he said it, but recount your history with God. He's always been on time. He may not have been on the timing when you wanted, but as you continue to walk with him and as you continue to trust him, recount those moments where you felt like it wasn't going to happen, but all of a sudden God showed up and he showed up right on time. I would also say use praise as a weapon to be grateful, to be thankful for where you are and what you have in that moment and what God is doing in that moment. And don't lose sight. Sometimes we're trying to get there so quickly and so anxiously that we lose sight of the very moment that we're in, and we forget to be just thankful. Thankful that I'm still here, that God is still teaching me, and maybe even question, what is it that I still need to learn? Where do I need to grow? Where do I need to mature? What do I need to give up? What do I need to kill in my life, right? So that God can move me forward in the vision or in the thing that he has shown me. Where do I need to obey?
Where do I need to?
Sometimes that's it. Just the obedience.
The Lord is like, look, can you just make this decision? Can you just get up at this time and pray? Can you just, go to the gym and do that? Like, it's just different things to where we may, feel as though it's some deep step that we have to take, when in reality, it's very much, hey, just do the last thing that I've asked you to do. And I'm going to continue to make things clear for you. So I'd love for you to even just, briefly kind of talk about just even like culture's expectations when it comes to timing, right? Just like you just beautifully shared the story of you and your daughter, right? So society would say right after high school, you need to go, but you realize that, no, God, I don't feel a peace about this. So how can you just even further encourage our audience today, letting them know that, hey, don't be compromised. Don't feel like you have to compromise what God is speaking to you about in order to fit into the timing of the culture that we live in?
I think that's such a great question, because in society now, we are trying to fit in or to do even what we see in social media, right? Social media says to do this. We should be here by now. We should be making this, follow these steps and you'll get here this fast, or you're right. These 10 steps to build the podcast, send your kids out to do this before their timing. But like you say, it takes wisdom for one, just knowing wisdom. And it's so important to cultivate a relationship with God, because that's who your wisdom come from. That's who your guidance come from. He says, lean not to your own understanding, but acknowledge me in all of your ways and I'll direct your path. Meaning when you acknowledge me in these things, I'll direct the path, the season, the when, the how, the who. I will direct it all when you just acknowledge me, not what you see in society, not even what you see in your culture, not what your parents have done over the last 40 years and how they want you to do it and how they want you to raise your children, but acknowledge God in the fact, okay, God, this is my life. This is where I am. What are we doing? I I acknowledge him in my marriage. I acknowledge him with my children, right? I know y'all say send them to college, let them go, move them out at 18, but that's not the wisdom of the Lord for my household, right? I understand that there are some things that I need to cultivate within my children before I send them out into that world to be a statistic or to be, you know, someone that has to come back and go through the whole process. Sometimes when we don't wait on God, you got to reset. You got to redirect. You got to come back to the training ground because you failed to wait and do what and cultivate or do what God needed you to do in that season.